start with the Mangalam. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Padamayyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavam Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunatham Tam Tam Sadevam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parjana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanutam Namam Vishnupadaya Vishnupreshthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirviseshunyavadi Paschatya Devashtaya Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Premradayate Krishna Krishna Chaitanya Namine Gauravasi He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopikakanta Radha Kanta Namaste Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Shubhanasute Pranamami Haripriya वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यश्च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। So you can all be set along with me. Karpanyadoshopatas sabhava pujjami tvam dharma sammudacheta yashreyasya nishchitam bruhitam me shishyasteham shadimam tvam prapannam तेनोऽस्मिन् यथा देहे कौमारं यौवनं जरा तथा देहान्तरप्राप्ते धीरस्तत्र न मुह्यति न जायते म्रियते वा कदाचित् नियं भूत्वा भविता वा न भूयात् अजो नित्यशाश्वतोऽयं पुराणो न हन्यते हन्यमानश्वरे भोगैश्वर्यप्रसक्तानां तयापहृतचेतसां व्यवसायात्मिका बुद्धिः समाधो न विधीयते प्रकृते क्रियमाणानि गुणैर्कर्माणि सर्वशः अहङ्कारमूढात्मा कर्ताहमिति मन्यते एवं परम्परा प्राप्तम् इमं राजऋषयो विदुः सकाले नेह महता योगो निष्ठपरन्तपा परित्राणाय साधूनां विनाशाय च दुष्कृतां धर्म संस्थापनार्थाय सम्भवामि युगे युगे जन्म कर्म च मे दिव्यम् एवं यो वेत्ति तत्त्वता त्यक्त्वा देहं पुनर्जन्म नैति मामेति सोऽर्जुन तद्विद्धि प्रणिपातेन परिप्रश्नेन सेवया परीक्षन्ते ते ज्ञानं ज्ञानिनस्तत्त्वदर्शिनः ये हि संस्पर्शजा भोग दुःखयो न एव ते आद्यन्तवन्तः कौन्तेय न तेषु रमते बुधाः भोक्तारां यज्ञतपसां सर्वलोकमहेश्वरं सुहृदं सर्वभूतानां ज्ञात्वा मां शान्तिमृच्छति योगिनामपि सर्वेषां मद्गतेनान्तरात्मना श्रद्धावान् भजति यो मां समे युक्ततमो मतः Okay, today who wants to read? Yes, bro. So I think we have to start with the seventh shloka. Okay. Yastu indriyani manasa niyamya arabate arjuna.
यस्त्वेन्द्रियाणि मनसा नियम्यारभते अर्जुन
कर्मेन्द्रियै कर्मयोगम् आसक्तः स विशिष्यते.
कर्मेन्द्रियै कर्मयोगम् असक्तः स विशिष्यते.
Okay. So the translation is, now Krishna has just explained the second reason, that if Arjuna renounces the world without getting purified, he will be a hypocrite. So now Krishna is saying, so that's why for you, solution is karma yoga. On the other hand, if a sincere person tries to control the active senses by the mind and begins karma yoga without attachment, he is by far superior. Yeah. You can read the purport.
Instead of becoming a pseudo transcendentalist for the sake of wanton living and sense enjoyment, it is far better to remain in one's own business and execute the purpose of life, which is to get free from the material bondage and enter into the kingdom of God. The prime Swartha Gati, or the goal of self-interest, is to reach Vishnu. The whole institution of Varna and Ashram is designed to help us reach this goal of life. A householder can also reach this destination by regulated service in Krishna consciousness. For self-realization, one can live in control, one can live a controlled life as prescribed in the Shastras and continue carrying out his business without attachment, and in that way make progress. A sincere person who follows this method is far better situated than a false pretender who adopts show bottle spiritualism to cheat the innocent public. A sincere sweeper in the street is far better than a charlatan meditator who meditates only for the sake of making a living.
So, karma yoga with sense control and as a householder, like one engages the senses, so some needs for enjoying the senses, enjoying with senses is satisfied. At the same time, it also tells about regulation. So that way, slowly, like Prabhupada has written that. So one can live a controlled life, and there is attachment. Like one is also has to offer the fruits to Vishnu. So that in the next lokas, that thing will come. How one has to offer, why one has to offer, what's the benefit of offering, what is the consequence of not offering. So that all Krishna is going to discuss in the next thing. Okay, like yeah, Prabhupada also says like ISKCON is not a free hotel. So unless means one has to take to full-time service or something for the sake of purification and for doing service. Not just one wants to live a carefree life. That way. Here we'll see a video on how in the current days there are people who pretend. So,
So, you want to learn how to be a god man? Well, you, my friend, have come to the right place. I will teach you exactly how to fool millions of people into giving you their hard earned money so you can ride your fancy cars and live off the rest of your days in fabulous wealth. First, we're going to take a look at how you would have done it in the early to mid 1900s, and with those basics in place, we just need to make slight tweaks and adjustments to adapt our methods for the 21st century. After that, we'll also take a look at what are the perks, some of the perks of this magnificent career path. So, what are we waiting for? Let's get right to learning. Hi, my name's Pranav and you're watching Science is Dope. A couple of decades ago, becoming a godman was really easy. It required little startup cost, even less networking, and just basic knowledge of how a business is supposed to work. All you need is another guy that you paid to be your spokesperson. Step 1. You don't need to worry about what to wear just yet. This dude clearly doesn't. He knows that what you have to do first is travel to a new town or village where people don't know you. And because Geo4G isn't a thing yet, your misdeeds of the past will stay in the dark. Step 2. Get your spokesperson to announce your greatness to everyone in the village and tell them about the mystical powers that you have, because you are an incarnation of God or a descendant of the enlightened yogis of the Himalayas. Now, it's very important that you get someone else to do this, because if you do it yourself, you're just gonna look like a raving lunatic and nobody's gonna believe you. But if your wingman does a good job, then the people of the village are now curious. They don't believe your claims just yet. They want to see what you can do. Step 3. This is where the only prerequisite that you need to have comes in handy. You need to learn how to do a couple of magic tricks. No, not the ones like pulling a rabbit out of a hat, that's too Western. You need to do something that appears relevant and spiritual. Something like conjuring divine ash out of thin air. A bed of nails trick also seems to work well. Now people see this and they're really impressed, because they don't know the difference between sleight of hand or a trick and supernatural powers. They give you their money, donations, and seek your blessings. And whenever they're in your presence, they feel your divine aura solving all their life's problems. Now it's time you started dressing appropriately. Create an image in their heads of an enlightened sadhu, because that's what's gonna bias them. And don't forget the beard, because that seems to be extremely effective. Whenever a new person joins your ashram, he or she is gonna see everyone else bowing down to you, and like a bunch of dead fish going in the flow, they're gonna start bowing down as well. So in the eyes of a new person, all this hard work that you did has already been done. Now it's time for step 4, and this one's pretty important, so listen up. And yeah, you need to have one more prerequisite. You need to know how to intersperse spiritual jargon into useful common sense advice to make it uniquely your own. If they implement this in their lives, they're gonna see results because the advice is useful, and this confirms their belief that you are truly enlightened. And confirmation bias is what's gonna keep bringing them back into your ashram to hear more of what you have to say. And anything you tell them at this point, any ideology, any statement, is now true in their eyes.
If I take a glass of water in my hand and just look at it in a certain way and give it to you, well-being will come to you.
But remember to always speak in analogies and easy to understand layman terms, because more people will gravitate to you that way. Sorry, I don't know how that got there. Anyway, moving on. You can now go to a new town with some of your new followers and establish a new ashram. Repeat steps 1 to 4 as many times as you want, and you will become established there as well. You are now an established godman with your own cult of people, your own followers who are ready to do anything for you. Any criticism of what you say or interference in what you do will be defended by hordes of people. All of what I've said so far is what someone like Satya Sai Baba did, and he was pretty successful at it till his death in 2011. But what he did will not work today now that there's the internet and easy availability of information that tends to spread like wildfire. Everyone knows what sleight of hand is, and if you ever get caught doing something like that, lots of exposed videos pop up and it gets ugly real fast. So don't be like Satya Sai Baba. You don't want that kind of negative PR. We have to adapt our methods for the 21st century, and I'll tell you exactly what adjustments to make. First, forget all that sleight of hand shit and rebrand yourself as a guru. It turns out that people don't need to see you do magic tricks to believe in your grandeur. People come to you because they have problems in their lives and they're desperate to solve them. And as long as you give out spiritual advice that applies to most people, they're gonna flock to you. And how do you do that again? Remember, common sense advice plus spiritual jargon. Sometimes you don't even need to do this. Sometimes your mere presence is all that's needed for people to feel as if they found the ultimate solution to their life's problems, the placebo effect. Now, I agree that maybe this might keep them from getting the genuine help that they need, but as long as people feel like they're getting help, right? Secondly, if anyone accuses you of being a godman or asks you anything about godmen, then you need to have well-rehearsed answers ready.
I have seen men and I've seen goddamn men. I have not seen a god man anywhere. I have seen men, I have seen goddamn men. Where did you see a god? I have seen goddamn men, but I've never seen… Some are goddamn men, that's different.
That just cracks me up. Helps if you have really witty answers. Thirdly, make sure you're on social media, because if the previous decade has shown us anything, it's that a social media…
Okay, so yeah, this is the example of what Krishna is talking. Because it may not apply as shown in the video for everyone what is shown, but basically those are the principles that one can see around. Okay, so now Krishna is giving the third reason. Niyatam kuru karmatvam karma jhayo hi akarmana.
Niyatam kuru karmatvam karma jayo hi akarmanah.
Sharira yatra pichate na prasiddhed akarmana.
Sharira yatra pichate na prasiddhet akarmanah.
Perform your prescribed duty, for doing so is better than not working. So here akarmana is not performing akarma, means doing karma without attachment to results, but not doing anything. So one cannot even maintain one's physical body, means if you don't work, you cannot even maintain your physical body. I can read the purport.
There are so many pseudo-meditators who misrepresent themselves as being great professional men of high parentage, and who falsely pose that they have sacrificed everything for the sake of advancement in spiritual life. Lord Krishna did not want Arjuna to become a pretender. Rather, Lord desired that Arjuna perform his prescribed duties as set forth for Kshatriyas. Arjuna was a householder and a military general, and therefore it was better for him to remain as such and perform his religious duties as prescribed for the householder Kshatriya. Such activities gradually cleanse the heart of a mundane man and free him from material contamination. So-called renunciation for the purpose of maintenance is never approved by the Lord, nor by any religious scripture. After all, one has to maintain one's body and soul together by some work. Work should not be given up capriciously without purification of the materialistic propensities. Anyone who is in the material world is certainly possessed of the impure propensity for lording it over the material nature, or in other words, for sense gratification. Such polluted propensities have to be cleared. Without doing so, through prescribed duties, one should never attempt to become a so-called transcendentalist, renouncing work and living at the cost of others.
Yeah, it may not always work, means first is it's not ethical, and yeah, it may not always work that way also. It's not proper. It is not like if somebody has renounced the world, everyone will maintain him and all, especially in this day and age where the faith in respecting the renounced order is not so much there. Yeah. So, like Prabhupada told, that's what here, like these activities gradually cleanse the heart of a mundane man and free him from material contamination. Like, if somebody is like taking, like in householder life, in a dharmic sense, like it involves taking responsibility, and one has to do austerity, like practicing Krishna consciousness involves austerity. So that is there, and like responsibility means there is austerity. One has to care for others and do something for others. So that's what selflessness is there. So that way slowly one gets purified. Okay. So now from now onwards, Krishna explains like what is yajna. The first in this next sloka, Krishna explains why one has to perform yajna, and then in further next few slokas, he explains the process of yajna. यज्ञार्धात् कर्मणोऽन्यत्र लोकोऽयं कर्म बन्धनम्
यज्ञार्थात् कर्मणोऽन्यत्र लोकोऽयं कर्म बन्धना
तदर्थं कर्म कौन्तेय मुक्तसङ्गसमाचर.
तदर्थं कर्म कौन्तेय मुक्तसङ्गसमाचर.
The translation: work done as a sacrifice for Vishnu has to be performed. Otherwise, work causes bondage in this world. Therefore, O son of Kunti, perform your prescribed duties for his satisfaction, and in that way you will always remain free from bondage. So here, yajna, the word yajna refers to Lord Vishnu. Lord Vishnu is also addressed as yajna, yajna Purusha. So two ways is telling: work or prescribed duties performed with devotion to Vishnu, or and mix with material desires. One may have also material desires. So that will lead to purification and eventually liberation. But if work and prescribed duties are only done only for selfish enjoyment, it causes bondage. This we also studied in Ishopanishad also. Yes, Prabhu, can read the purport.
Since one has to work even for a simple maintenance of the body, the prescribed duties of a particular social position and quality are so made that purpose can be fulfilled. Yajna means Lord Vishnu or sacrificial performances. All sacrificial performances also are meant for the satisfaction of Lord Vishnu. The Vedas enjoin Yajno Vai Vishnu. In other words, the same purpose is served whether one performs prescribed yajnas or directly serves Lord Vishnu. Krishna consciousness is therefore performance of yajna as it is prescribed in this verse. The Varnashram institution also aims at satisfying Lord Vishnu. Varnashramacharvata Purushena Parapuman Vishnur Aradhyate. Chaitanya Charitamrit Madhya Leela 8.58 and Vishnu Puran 3.8.9. Therefore, one has to work for the satisfaction of Vishnu. Any other work done in this material world will be the cause of bondage, for both good and evil work have their reactions, and any reaction binds the performer. Therefore, one has to work in Krishna consciousness to satisfy Krishna or Vishnu, and while performing such activities, one is in liberated stage. This is the great art of doing work, and in the beginning, this process requires very expert guidance. One should therefore act very diligently under the expert guidance of a devotee of Lord Krishna or under the direct instruction of Lord Krishna himself, under whom Arjuna had the opportunity to work. Nothing should be performed for sense gratification, but everything should be done for the satisfaction of Krishna. This practice will not only save one from the reaction of work, but also gradually elevate one to the transcendental loving service of the Lord, which alone can raise one to the kingdom of God.
So, yeah, Prabhupada is emphasizing that, yeah, it only has to be performed. If one performs completely only for Vishnu, then the purification will be faster. Otherwise, if there are material desires, if both are there, like there is devotion to Vishnu, but there are material desires, then it will be slower and it also causes reactions. So here devotion to Vishnu means there in the ritual they are offering to Vishnu, but they may not be like devoted to Vishnu. Like here, Prabhupada is saying, therefore, whether one performs prescribed yajnas or directly serves Lord Vishnu. So there are yajnas prescribed, like like the grihasthas have the responsibility to do Panchamaha yajna. We'll discuss later. So those yajnas, like one is performing, but one may have some other desires. The goal is not Vishnu, but the yajna is offered to Vishnu. So, like one may be paying taxes to the government, but many may be doing out of obligation or compulsion. I don't know, very few or even no one maybe perhaps no thinking that no government is doing so good work. We should support the government. Government is providing so many facilities, so we should see it as a duty. So it's not so likely, but they are doing it nonetheless. So government protects them and provides them facilities, etc. So it's like that. So those who are doing karma yoga, their yajna performance is like something like compulsion or obligation. Okay, this is the only way to get it. Otherwise, if we don't perform this, there will be problems. So they may be doing. But a devotee, he does it out of love and proper knowledge and all, without any material desires. Okay. So here Prabhupada is also saying how Karma Yoga is contained in Bhakti Yoga. You have an OBA question where the question is how all aspects of different yogas are contained in Bhakti Yoga. So here Prabhupada is saying this aspect of Karma Yoga where one has to offer one's results to Vishnu is all automatically contained in Bhakti Yoga. Okay. Now Krishna is describing the process of Yajna. Sahayagya prajashishtva purovacha prajapati.
सहयज्ञ प्रजा सृष्ट्वा पुरोवाच प्रजापति
Anena prasavishyedham ishavo swa ishtakamαδhuk.
अनेन प्रसविष्यध्वम् एष वोस्त्व इष्टकामधुक्.
In the beginning of creation, the Lord of all creatures, Prajapati, sent forth generations of men and demigods along with sacrifices for Vishnu and blessed them by saying, "Be happy by this yajna sacrifice, because its performance will bestow upon you everything desirable for living happily and achieving liberation." Okay, this thing, yeah, this point we'll take later. Okay. So Prabhupada is writing, the Lord created this material world to enable the conditioned souls to learn how to perform yajna sacrifices for the satisfaction of Vishnu, so that while in the material world, they can live very comfortable without anxiety. And after finishing the present material body, they can enter into the kingdom of God. That is the whole program for the conditioned souls. So that is the Dharma, Artha, Kama, and Moksha. Like, so here this yajna is like, so one has to perform yajna, so then one can get his material necessities and he can enjoy them. That is so that is the process. Like one pays tax to the government and government provides for the citizens. So this is a similar system, the system of yajna. Now Prabhupada explains about Sankirtan yajna and all, but in the context of bhakti. Okay, you can think like you can think of some examples from Shastras where someone performed yajna to get something from demigods. You can raise
Yes,
hand.
Prabhuji. Can I answer?
Yeah.
That to kill Indra did yajna for getting that what we call that astra, from the bones of that one rishi, the Rishi I think.
Yeah, no, Vritrasur.
To kill Vritrasur, yeah.
To kill Vritrasur, yeah, that is not yajna, but actually Vritrasur is created from yajna by the father of by Twashta. Twashta is the father of Vishwarup. Indra kills Vishwarup and Twashta performs yajna. Yeah, so that is one example. Yeah, anyone else? Any other examples? from Ramayana, Mahabharat.
Rajasthu Yajna, Prabhuji?
Yeah. Let others tell. Thank you.
Sure.
Yes, Amrita Mataji.
Sorry. Oh, I don't know it's right or not. I think Maharaj Drupad had done yajna to get Draupadi and her brother to
Vishtadyumna.
kill Dronacharya.
Yes. That's correct. Yeah. Okay. Yes, Sharad Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhuji, Hiranyakashipu and Ravana, they did yajna to become immortal.
They did
Not yajna,
tapasya, not
tapasya,
exactly.
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
In some way, that is also yajna, which we will study in 4th chapter. But okay, fine. Okay, yes, Raj Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dhanatva.
Yes.
Yes, Prabhuji. So Dasharath Maharaj also did one yajna for they're called Putra Kamishti Yajna
Yes.
for getting the Ram as a son.
Yes. Correct. Very correct. Thank you. Yeah. So we see in Shastras, there are like different instances where yajnas are performed to get some material things. So that is the
Prabhuji,
system.
Rajasthu Yajna also done, na, Prabhuji? No.
Yeah. Rajasva Yajna also. Yes.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Okay. And Ashwamedh Yajna also is there in Ramayana. After Lord Ram returns from Lanka to Ayodhya, he performs Ashwamedh Yajna. That is also there. Yeah. Okay, so the next shloka, it tells about what yajna helps us in ensuring cooperation between everyone, and everyone becomes happy. Devan bhavayatam te deva bhavayantu yava.
Devan bhavayata te deva bhavayantu va.
Parasparam bhavayanta shreyah param avapsyata.
Parasparam bhavaya
Bhavayanta Shreya
Shreya param avapsyata.
The demigods, being pleased by sacrifices, will also please you. And thus, by cooperation between men and demigods, prosperity will reign for all. Yes, Pro, you can read the purport.
The demigods are empowered administrators of material affairs. The supply of air, light, water, and all other benedictions for maintaining the body and the soul for every living entity is entrusted to the demigods, who are innumerable assistants in different parts of the body of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Their pleasures and displeasures are dependent on the performance of yajnas by the human being. Some of the yajnas are meant to satisfy particular demigods, but even in so doing, Lord Vishnu is worshipped in all the yajnas as the chief beneficiary. It is stated also in the Bhagavad Gita that Krishna himself is the beneficiary of all kinds of yajnas. Bhuktaram yajnatapasam. Therefore, ultimate satisfaction of Yajnapati is the chief purpose of all the yajnas. When these yajnas are perfectly performed, naturally the demigods in charge of the different departments of supply are pleased, and there is no scarcity in the supply of natural products. Performance of yajnas has many side benefits, ultimately leading to liberation from material bondage. By performance of yajnas, all activities become purified as it is stated in the Vedas. Chandogya Upanishad 7.26.2. Ahara Shuddhau Sattva Shuddhau Dhruva Smriti Lambe Sarva Grantinam Vipramoksha. By performance of yajna, one's eatables become sanctified, and by eating sanctified foodstuffs, one's very existence becomes purified. And by the purification of existence, finer tissues in the memory become sanctified. And when memory is sanctified, one can think of the path of liberation. And all these combined together lead to Krishna consciousness, the great necessity of present day society.
Yeah, so this is a shloka reference for showing the benefits of taking prasad. Yeah. So we see in the Govardhan Lila, like Indra gets displeased when the yajna means when the Vrajavasis don't perform yajna. So that is one instance. So like that, there are like different things. We also see in Bhagavatam, like Daksha performs yajna. So yajnas it's like a natural thing. Means Vedas, there are like many yajnas prescribed. Discuss on it. So maybe we'll then discuss here only. So there are Panchamahayagya which are prescribed for the householders in the Vedas. So there is first is called Brahma Yajna. Brahma Yajna is like study of scriptures. Then Deva Yajna. Deva Yajna is like offering oblations to the demigods, the chief demigods like Indra, Vayu, Agni, Surya, like this. And then Bhuta Yajna. Bhuta Yajna is like being charitable to others. And then there is Pitru Yajna, like offering oblations to the forefathers. And then there is Atiti Yajna, like offering hospitality to the guests. So like this, this is like one has to perform regularly. Even there is description in the activities of Krishna in Dwaraka also, like Lord also used to perform yajnas, the Brahmanas. So as we pay taxes to the government, and government in return provides security, through army, police, distribution of water, infrastructure, etc. So the same way, the universal government works. So one performs yajna, and in return, the demigods provide the necessities. So now what happens if one does not perform yajna? So that is being described. Ishtan bhogan hivo deva dasyante yajna bhavita.
Istan bhogan hi vo deva dasyante yajna bhavita.
Tair dattan apradhayebhyo yo bhunte stena eva sa.
Tair dattana pradayebhyo yo bhunte stena eva sa.
Translation: in charge of the various necessities of life, the demigods, being satisfied by the performance of yajna, will supply all necessities to you. But he who enjoys such gifts without offering them to the demigods in return is certainly a thief. Stena. So yajna to demigods, if one follows it despite material desires, yeah, one can have material desires. There is nothing wrong, at least as in the Vedic, as per the Vedas, in the Vedic life. So he can lead prosperous life and slowly spiritual purification. Like while performing yajnas, one directly offers oblations to Vishnu, and one has to do austerity, and one leads a pious life, so no sinful life. Like that, gradually, means it takes very slowly that purification happens. But if you get to demigods, one does not follow it and just enjoy. So like maybe it applies to most of the people today without following the principle of yajna. So one has to incur sin, punishment, and bondage. Bondage means material attachments increase. When yajna also perform with material desires, there will be material attachment, but it will not be that much as compared to when somebody just enjoys without performing yajna. Because in yajna, like the Brahmanas speak about the knowledge of soul and all, everything. Indraya, idam namama, like that they speak. So some consciousness is there. This is not for me. So like that helps. Yeah, you can. Yeah, you can read the
The
demigods.
demigods are authorized supplying agents on behalf of the Supreme Personality of Godhead Vishnu. Therefore, they must be satisfied by the performance of prescribed yajnas. In the Vedas, there are different kinds of yajnas prescribed for different kinds of demigods, but all are ultimately offered to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. For one who cannot understand what the Personality of Godhead is, sacrifice to the demigods is recommended.
Yeah, so here, so if one is not a devotee, one can perform yajnas. It's not like everyone has to become compulsorily a devotee. Means that is not the stress of the Vedas. Vedas says you perform yajna, you follow your varnashram dharma. That is also like it's like a sinless life and pious life. So this is like what is Sakama Karma and Karma Kanda. They accept the authorities of Vedas and Vishnu, but they focus maybe on demigods. Means while offering yajna to demigods also, they worship Vishnu as the Supreme Lord. But the focus is they want to get something from the demigod, like that. Okay, you can read next.
According to the different material qualities of the persons concerned, different types of yajnas are recommended in the Vedas. Worship of different demigods is also on the same basis, namely according to different qualities. For example, the meat eaters are recommended to worship the goddess Kali, the ghastly form of material nature. And before the goddess, the sacrifice of animal is recommended. But for those who are in the mode of goodness, the transcendental worship of Vishnu is recommended. But ultimately, all yajnas are meant for gradual promotion to the transcendental position. For ordinary men, at least 5 yajnas, known as Pancha Mahayajna, are necessary.
Yeah, Panchamaha unnecessary. Yes, continue.
One should know, however, that all the necessities of life that the human society requires are supplied by the demigod agents of the Lord. No one can manufacture anything. Take, for example, all the eatables of human society. These eatables include grains, fruits, vegetables, milk, sugar, etc. for the persons in the mode of goodness, and also eatables for the non-vegetarians like the meats, none of which can be manufactured by men. Then again, take for example heat, light, water, air, etc., which are also necessities of life. None of them can be manufactured by the human society. Without the Supreme Lord, there can be no profuse sunlight, moonlight, rainfall, breeze, etc., without which no one can live. Obviously, our life is dependent on supplies from the Lord. Even for our manufacturing enterprises, we require so many raw materials like the metal, sulfur, mercury, manganese, and so many essentials, all of which are supplied by the agents of the Lord, with the purpose that we should make proper use of them to keep ourselves fit and healthy for the purpose of self realization, leading to the ultimate goal of life, namely liberation from the material struggle for existence. This aim of life is attained by performance of yajnas. If we forget the purpose of human life and simply take supplies from the agents of the Lord for sense gratification and become more and more entangled in the material existence, which is not the purpose of creation, certainly we become thieves. And therefore, we are punished by the laws of material nature. A society of thieves can never be happy because they have no aim in life. The gross materialist thieves have no ultimate goal of life. They are simply directed to sense gratification, nor do they have knowledge of how to perform yajnas. Lord Chaitanya, however, inaugurated the easiest performance of yajna, namely the Sankirtan yajna, which can be performed by anyone in the world who accepts the principles of Krishna consciousness.
Yeah. Okay. So Prabhupada is saying that ultimately, like no, God, we are dependent on the nature. Means it's not like everything we can manufacture ourselves. The food or no, the raw materials are coming through nature, and to the nature Krishna is giving through demigods and all to the earth. So we cannot manufacture food. We can process food, but we cannot manufacture food in the factories. So even Prabhupada is also talking about metals, etc. So that's why this principle of yajna is very much important. Prabhupada mentioned the Panchamaha yajna. Yeah. So if you see the Vedic culture, even the meat eaters are accommodated. It's not like they're it means they incur sin for that, but even there is a process in which they commit less sin and they slowly can come out of the sin that way. Why we don't do that? Because it is not in the mode of goodness, means it incurs sinful reactions, even if let's say it is done under Vedic thing also, but yeah, Vedic thing, there will be many restrictions. Now we cannot say, yeah, we cannot say if somebody is following Vedas, it is not sinful. But yeah, so yeah, that is not right. So if somebody is have to take meat also as per the Vedas, it was only allowed only for some certain animals and only at certain periods of the month. Means with a interval, and one has to also do, one has to be also charitable. It's not like one can consume the entire meat for oneself. So yeah, one will not incur sin if one does it that way. But thing is, one will be affected by the, because one has that desire to taste it, and also there will be some entanglement, bondage, stamoguna, so that will be affected. So that's why for practicing Krishna consciousness, it is against, and it is against the principle of ahimsa and all. So, okay. And like this is a law, like Vedas gives the laws by which the material world can function smoothly. So demigods are also jivas and all, but and there are living entities on the earth. So it's a system so that both can coexist together, both are happy. Demigods are given that power, like to provide resources and all, and there is cooperation, and it goes on smoothly. Because if let's say 10 people come together, so they have to have some rules for function, for living together. Even a family also, they will have some rules, like what the father does, what the mother does, and no, so some system has to be there. So this system of yajna is a it's a system to ensure that the living beings in the material world, they coexist in harmony, and they fulfill their needs for enjoyment, and they can function properly. Yeah, we see that today's society, it's not following the yajna and all, so that's why there is suffering in terms of climate change, many things. There are irregular rains, too much heat, so many things are coming. There is scarcity of water, etc. Modern education is largely non-theistic, means it does not tell about how everything is coming from God. It tells at like most about nature or something, but not about God. And it gives a promise that science can create everything. We need not depend on nature, etc. So God should be there, then only one will perform yajna, otherwise no. Now it's a fashion, like to become atheist and all. It seems like something modern, that, so that is there. Okay, so you can take around 7 minutes, and you can think, like Prabhupada talked about performing some Kirtan Yajna in the last, uh, which can be performed by anyone in the world who accepts the principles of Krishna consciousness. So how we can align our personal life to Sankirtan Yajna, our professional life to our Sankirtan Yajna, and our social relationships, how we can align them and make them basically to how we can spiritualize them, so that every activity becomes like a yajna. So I can think about around 7 minutes, then we'll discuss. Okay, so how we can align our personal life towards Sankirtan Yajna as a Sankirtan Yajna? Who wants to answer? Okay, someone else. Yes, Soni Mataji. Can you tell?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Am I audible, Prabhuji?
Yes, 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 Mata.
Yes, so in personal life, we can have our strict routine, which involves our sadhana. That is also in Sankirtan. And our deity worship. And we should involve our family in that, because they will not understand exactly Sankirtan initially if they are not following. But deity worship is very common in our families. So by doing that little bit, we can involve them. And then the second thing is, like with kids we can do stories. We can create that Krishna consciousness in them by telling them stories. Even I do that with my Prabhuji, because he's not very much interested in coming to temple and hearing the lectures. So something related, looking at their inclinations, we can
Yeah, yeah.
bring. And
Yeah,
that is also coming
yeah.
in Sankirtan.
Yeah, thank you, thank you. We'll hear from others. Thank you.
Can I answer, Prabhuji?
Let Shrikant Prabhu answer, then you can answer.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yes, Shrikant Prabhu can tell.
Personal life only, bro.
Yeah, yeah, personally.
I think what Mataji said, I think I was just going to mention the same things, ABCD, like associating with devotees, daily
Okay.
reading Prabhupada books, then
Okay.
chanting sadhana,
Okay.
and
Yeah.
eating prasadam,
Okay.
Yes, Prabhuji, I missed on
that
Prasada. That is
Yeah,
also there.
diet.
yeah, okay. Yes, Vaikuntha Bihari Prabhu.
We can join the Sankirtan movement which the devotees go in the morning. Brahmachari devotees go in the nearby area. We can
Yeah.
join that with our family members. And secondly, we can preach about this chanting, the importance of chanting to our neighbors or our colleagues or our people who are working with. We can try to preach them. We can try to tell them. If anybody is interested or takes interest in that, then we can help him to proceed in this Sankirtan Yajna.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, okay. Yeah. Thank you, thank you. Yeah.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Okay. Yeah, also giving, yeah, of course, that will come in the second part. Yes. Okay, now about professional life. Okay, yes, yes, Raj, bro, we can tell.
Great, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Yes, yes.
Yes, Prabhuji. So, in our professional life, we can invite our colleagues into the temple festival, because some of them are new for the Sankirtan, they don't know about the chanting and whatever we do. And we can do our work for thinking like that, okay, this is not my work, this is the prescribed duty given by the Krishna. So it's this meditation is a kind of yajna.
Okay. Okay, yes, yes. Okay, thank you. Yes. Okay, so Sundari Subhadra Mataji, you can tell.
Yes, Prabhuji, thank you for calling me by that.
Yeah, you can rename also.
Actually, I attend some school meetings also, so I'll do.
Okay.
So, Prabhuji, one point Prabhu has already covered, that inviting them for festivals. Second, in one lecture of Prabhupada, I heard that Sankirtan means hearing lectures. And when Prabhupada's books are written, so Prabhupada said that my books are also Sankirtan.
Okay.
So if we are distributing books, ultimately we are providing them or we are involving them in yajna, Sankirtan yajna.
Okay. Yes, yes.
And one more point is there, Prabhuji, donations. So yena kena prakare we can involve their Lakshmi. If they are not interested in coming, we can involve their Lakshmi
Yes,
also.
yes. Okay, okay. Thank you, thank you. Yes, okay. Yes, Avatari Chetan Prabhu.
Prabhu, we can do what Shrikant Prabhu does. He conducts device sessions in his company, does even kirtans, calls them to temple for prasadam and all.
Okay, okay. Yes. Thank you, please. Hare Krishna. Okay, Amrita Mataji.
Prabhuji, colleagues are not coming to temple, but they are very concerned about prasad. So whenever festival is going or anything is there, so we give them prasad. After that, after taking prasad, they are coming to temple and interested in book reading and those things also.
Okay,
So
okay.
they are getting interested in those things.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you, thank you. Yeah. Yeah, first, of course, we also have to give donation and yeah, then other things. Okay, thank you. Now,
Can I tell Prabhuji?
yes, yes.
We can use their professional skills
Mm.
in the Krishna service.
Yeah, yeah, that is also good. Yeah, if yes.
Their professional skills, which is in the service of the Lord, we can make them to gradually proceed for the
Yeah,
Sankirtan movement.
yeah, especially in if somebody is a government employee and all, then they can do something. Especially, yes. Good. Okay. Now in social relationships, maybe relatives or whatever, or social functions or whatever, all these things. Okay. Who else? Yes, Shrikant Pro, you can tell.
One thing is about the cultural activities. Like we perform dramas and other things. Like this Janmashtami also, I saw that there were like thousands of devotees like from outside, like Krishna conscious movement also. Like they were invited for performing their arts in the temple during Janmashtami. So it's a nice engagement,
Okay.
and they were grateful. And yeah, also I remember in college days when there were some fests and other things that were organized. We used to always say that we should start with a kirtan. So any hostel had their event. We used to go and like start with a kirtan first, and then they used to have their activities.
Okay, okay,
So
very
that
nice.
is
Okay,
social.
that's also take from others. Yes, Sharad Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhuji. So to relatives also, we can preach to whatever extent possible. Uh, Encourage them to chant some rounds. Invite them for festivals in temple, so that they can also take part in Sankirtan.
Okay. Okay, Sundari Subhadra Mataji.
Yes, Prabhuji. So I have also written this taking cultural activities. One point which I have written is we should avoid being fanatic because when we go in a social setup, some beliefs are there already in people. So we should not get into those things. Instead of getting into those things, we should focus on our Sankirtan and our but we should not get into some disputes or arguments.
Okay, okay. Thank you, thank you.
And helping, like we often see that everybody is in need of something, maybe emotional needs also. So we should be good listeners to them. By helping them, also we can get them involved in our Sankirtan Yajna.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, so if the purpose is there, means the purpose has to be clear
Yes.
in ways can be many. Yes. Okay, yes.
And Acharan. Third point, our own Acharan.
Yes, yes. Very nice. Thank you. Okay. Yes, Raj Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. So Prabhuji, actually, I see this is my practical exam. I saw one practical exam. I know one Prabhuji. So what he did, so whenever he goes any function, so he gifted the Bhagavad Gita and Prabhupada books to their relatives and their friends. Even if some person is going to retire from his company, so he always give the Bhagavad Gita and Prabhupada books. So at this way he preach also, and the book distribution is also a yajna, as Prabhupada said. And other thing, we can invite our colleagues and our friends and our relatives at our home for house program, and we can celebrate our birthdays and all this thing in a devotee way. So they will understand. Okay, so this is another way to celebrate the our birthday and other things. or devotional way. So they interact with us, or they all some, because I saw some people are inspired with these things. So they also conduct the program with the Sankirtan and all these things,
Yeah.
and they invite us.
Okay. Yes. Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay.
One more point I wanted to
Yeah.
add.
Yeah.
Is it like contributing back to the society, like the Annadan,
Yeah.
Annamrit thing that we
Yes.
have started, right? So that is also very helpful.
Yeah. If already somebody has that desire to do something for society, you can spiritualize it. Yes, good thing. So in this way, like many activities which we do in our daily life also, they can be aligned to Sankirtan Yajna. Means it's not like Yajna, Sankirtan Yajna means always it's only one has to do Harinam or something, but many activities can be aligned to that and contribute to that, like that. Okay. Yeah, Krishna is continuing with the consequences of not performing yajna. Yajna shishta shinasanto muchyante sarva kilbishai.
Yajnashishtasina santo muchyante sarva kilvishay.
Bhunjate tu agam papa ye pachanti atma karanat.
Bhujante tva agam papa ye pachantatma karanat.
Here the translation goes like the devotees of the Lord are released from all kinds of sin because they eat food which is offered first for sacrifice. Others who prepare food for personal sense enjoyment verily eat only sin. Of course, here it refers to also the karma yoga who offer the food to Vishnu as a ritual but may not have devotion, but also to that. Sarva Kilbisha means all the sins are eradicated, but Agam Papa, otherwise it will be a sinful thing. So Krishna cannot accept anything without first of the santas means the devotees or the karma yogas should not accept anything without first offering it to the supreme person. Therefore, they always perform yajnas in different modes of devotional service, such as Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam, Archanam, and these performances of yajnas keep them always aloof from all kinds of contamination of sinful association in the material world. Yes, Shrikant Prabhu has some question.
No, bro. Like one thing I remembered is that in Marathi we have these prayers that we say before eating prasadam also, that Udara Bharana Nohe Jani Jai Yajna Karma.
Okay.
Offered food if we eat yearly.
Yeah.
It's a yajna. I
Yeah.
remembered that.
Yeah. So the culture is there, means that's what means even like somebody pious also, if they are offering food with some prayer or something, it is considered as yajna. But it is not devotion. So that we'll discuss. Okay. Okay, so is offering food grains to Vishnu, it's like pious or devotional? We'll discuss, but just want to answer. So is it pious or devotional, at least as what Krishna is describing in this context? Someone wants to answer? Yes, Sharad Prabhu.
In this context, it seems pious activity, Prabhu,
Okay.
because it's talking about free from sin.
Yeah. Who else? Okay. Yashras Prabhu, you have some different answer or?
Yes, actually, I have a two perspective. So as Prabhuji told, as per this context, it's a pious. So if we are doing it just a ritualistic way, because in my home, before coming in Krishna conscious, we are also offering the food to Krishna, but not with that consciousness. Before that, okay, we just offer to the Thakurji plate and just we are belling the bell, tin tin tin, and after some time we take the prasad. So it's just a ritualistic way. So maybe it would be pious, but it's not the devotion. Because in the devotion we have some feelings. We feel that Krishna is eating this,
Yeah.
and so if it's not with the feelings, it's a pious. I mean, if it is with the feelings, it's a devotional.
Yeah, so that Krishna talks in the 9th chapter. Patram pushpam phalam toya. Yo me bhaktya prayachiti. So that actually Krishna says, I accept it. So, okay, now who is sinful? An atheist or a pious person or a materialist? Okay, let's say, is atheist sinful?
Can I say, Prabhuji? Can I answer?
Yeah. You can answer. Yes.
Yes, atheist is a sin, means he is a sinful.
Yeah, atheist is sinful. Okay.
Yeah.
What about pious person?
He is also sinful.
How? Why? Means as per this, what Krishna is telling, how he is sinful?
If he is pious person but he is not devotee, then he is sinful.
How? Why?
He is not offering the food to the Lord, no?
No, just in the previous question only we were discussing that offering food, like if somebody is pious and is offering food to Vishnu, it is fine.
Then it is fine. If he is offering food to Vishnu, then no problem.
Okay. Okay. So, yes, Yashas bro, you want?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yeah.
So all of three, so I give the answer one by one. So for the atheist, because atheist is not believing in God, so he looks maybe very pious or very social activist and all these things,
Yeah.
but it's not a permanent, as we discuss in the Ishopanishad. It's a temporary and there is some another motives.
Yeah,
And he
basically,
also did some sinful activities like meat eating, and he doesn't believe in God, so he can do anything.
Yeah.
And for the pious person,
okay, just a minute. What you can do now? Yeah. Okay, maybe I'll try. You can answer with respect to performing again, not performing again. In that way, you can tell whether one is sinful.
Okay, Prabhuji. So for pious person, it's also maybe sin because during some yagyas there is some animal sacrifice.
No, that is not. Yeah, that will not cause sin, because if somebody is doing those animal sacrifices under Vedic umbrella, perfectly according to that, it should not cause sin.
But Prabhuji, there is also some tamoguni yagya, not in the Vedic Shastra, but in Tantra Shastra.
Yeah,
so,
see, if it is properly bona fide Vedic, of course, that's what in Kali Yuga it is little difficult to ascertain something is really Vedic or not. So there may be some trace of sin, but strictly as per the Vedic, if somebody is doing according to that regulation, no, it's not like means if let's say that thing has to be done once in a month or something, then if it is done in that way, by also doing the charity, etc., many things, so then it is sinful.
But Prabhuji, in the Bhagavatam, there is one example of a Prachin Barhi also doing the rituals and all the yagyas, but still Narad Muni said you are committing the sins.
Yeah, because he has done so many and he's not doing things properly, because now the yajnas have failed.
Okay.
Like the success of the yajna is the animal gets a new body. So
okay,
that is not happening. So that's
okay,
why
so
the souls are tortured and they are going to harass him like that.
Okay, so yeah, this is the one of the example, because if we are not doing the properly sacrifice and yagyas,
yeah.
so it may be cause our not a pious activity, it can be a sin.
Yeah. Okay.
So it should be proper. And for materialistic, sometime it's happened. So materialistic is we can say using the God's property without caring of God. So yeah, it's a kind of sin.
No, see, actually materialist means he's enjoying matter.
Okay.
So even a pious person also can be materialistic.
Okay.
So it depends. If somebody is pious and is a materialist, then he may not be sinful.
Okay.
But if somebody is not pious, is impious and is a materialist, so then he is sinful.
Okay, so it's a tricky question.
Yeah. Now, if one is a devotee and is doing, then if one performs some mistakes while doing yajna and all, they will be taken care by Krishna, as Krishna promises in the 18th chapter. Okay. So the definition of sin is disobedience of God's laws. So what is God's law is what is told in this thing. So perform yajna and fulfill your needs. So do your dharma and don't disturb others' free will. So this is a system to ensure that the material world goes on properly. No, everyone coexists and everyone tries to fulfill their needs for enjoyment, etc. But doing devotional service is not God's law; it is God's desire. So if somebody is not like doing devotional service, it doesn't mean that no, God is going to punish him. The piety means one accepts the authority of God, but it's not like one is devoted to God and offers, gives respect to God. So if that much one does, it's fine. Okay. Now Krishna is again now telling again the how we yajna means now telling the positive consequences.
Sorry, Prabhuji.
Yeah.
So,
Yes.
Prabhuji, what I have understood is atheist, he does not accept the authority of God.
Hmm.
So he will fall in sinful.
Yes. Atheist means that is what
Yes.
his belief is there is no God. So he is default sinful.
And a materialist, if he is in ignorance of God, then he is also sinful.
Yeah.
And if a materialist who is doing yajna to fulfill his material desires, then he is not sinful.
Yes, yes.
Okay. Thank you, Prabhu.
Yeah, there is some conception that no, like Krishna is going to punish everyone who is not going to do devotional service. That's not the exact thing. That may be told in a context in Kali Yuga. It's very difficult to do other things like being pious and not being a devotee. It's something not so easy. So sometimes in that context, it may be told in that way, but it's not the exact thing what Vedas say. Okay. Annad bhavanti bhutani parjanyad anna sambhava
Annat bhavanti bhutani parjanyat anna sambhava.
yajnad bhavati parjanyo yajna karma samudbhava.
Yajnat bhavati parjanyo yajna karma samudbhava.
All living bodies subsist on food grains which are produced from rains. Rains are produced by performance of yajna, sacrifice, and yajna is born of prescribed duties. So Krishna is explaining the cycle of yajna here. I will read the first things, then you can read. Srila Baladev Vidyabhushan, a great commentator on the Bhagavad Gita, writes as follows: Ya Indradi Angatya Avasthitam Yajnam Sarveshwaram Vishnum Abhyarchaya Tat Chesham Ashnanti Tena Tad Deha Yatram Sampadayanti Te Santa Sarveshwarasya Yajna Purushasya Bhakta Sarva Kilbishayat Anadi Kala Vivruddher Atmanubhava Priti Bhadakair Nikilai Papair Vimuchanti. Yes, Prabhu, can read.
The Supreme Lord, who is known as the Yajna Purusha or the personal beneficiary of all sacrifices, is the master of all the demigods, who serves him as the different limbs of the body serves the whole. Demigods like Indra, Chandra, and Varuna are appointed officers who manage material affairs, and the Vedas
Appointed officers.
are appointed officers who manage material affairs, and the Vedas direct sacrifices to satisfy these demigods so that they may be pleased to supply air, light, and water sufficiently to produce food grains. When Lord Krishna is worshipped, the demigods who are different limbs of the Lord are also automatically worshipped. Therefore, there is no separate need to worship the demigods. For this reason, the devotees of the Lord who are in Krishna consciousness, they offer food to Krishna and then eat, a process which nourishes the body spiritually. By such action, not only are the past sinful reactions in the body vanquished, but the body becomes immunized to all the contamination of the material nature.
Yeah, so
When there
Prabhupada
is
is making the point that a devotee need not worship the demigods. If he worships Krishna, it is sufficient. Like if you offer food to Krishna, it is sufficient. But this is more in context to the Karma Yoga. Yes, Prabhu.
when there is an epidemic disease, an antiseptic vaccine protects a person from the attack of such an epidemic. Similarly, food offered to Lord Vishnu and then taken by us makes us sufficiently resistant to the material affection. And one who is accustomed to this practice is called a devotee of the Lord. Therefore, a person in Krishna consciousness who eats only food offered to Krishna can counteract all reactions of the past material infections, which are impediments to the progress of self realization. On the other hand, one who does not do so continues to increase the volume of sinful action, and this prepares the next body to resemble hogs and dogs, to suffer the resultant reactions of all sins. The material world is full of contaminations, and one who is immunized by accepting prasadam of the Lord, food offered to Vishnu, is saved from the attack, whereas one who does not do so becomes subjected to contamination. Food grains or vegetables are factually eatables. The human being eats different kinds of food grains, vegetables, fruits, etc., and the animals eat the refuse of the food grains and vegetables, grass, plants, etc. Human beings who are accustomed to eating the meat and flesh must also depend on the production of vegetation in order to eat the animals. Therefore, ultimately, we have to depend on the production of the field and not on the production of big factories. The field production is due to the sufficient rain from sky, and the such rains are controlled by demigods like Indra, sun, moon, etc. And they are all servants of the Lord. The Lord can be satisfied by sacrifices. Therefore, one who cannot perform them will find himself in scarcity. That is the law of nature. Yajna, specifically the Sankirtan Yajna prescribed for this age, must therefore be performed to save us at least from the scarcity of food supply.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Yeah, if still somebody now you cannot always say that the Western countries they are not performing yajna, and there are also religious people in Western countries and all. Like Christians, there are pious Christians and all. Generally, Western countries is not something that is represented by the Hollywood actors or something. There are quite some pious Christians and all. They may be materialistic, but they are also pious and also that also counts like yajna. It's not like only, of course, there are devotees who are performing Sankirtan there. But yeah. So there are fluctuations because like now Christians also that much they are not pious and all. So that's why. Okay. Now Krishna is explaining in the and Prabhupada is saying ultimately like whether somebody is vegetarian or non-vegetarian, ultimately one has to perform yajna. Otherwise, because ultimately that is dependent on the supply by the demigods. It's not like somebody is non-vegetarian, he need not perform yajna like that. Now, in Krishna, in this next sloka, is explaining what are exactly prescribed duties. Karma brahmodbhavam vidhi brahmakshara samudbhavam.
Karma brahmodbhavam vidhi brahmakshara samudbhavam.
Tasmat sarvagatam brahma nityam yajne pratishtitam.
Tasmat sarvagatam brahma nityam yajne pratishtitam.
Okay, so this is how it is coming. So Lord Vishnu is called Akshara. So from Akshara it is coming Brahma. Brahma is the Vedas. So from the Vedas, the prescribed it is karma is coming. Then the part of doing the karma, one of the important thing is doing yajna, sacrifices. And from sacrifices, rain, Parjanya comes. And from Parjanya, grains come, Anna. So from rains, give grains. And by that, living beings subsist. And they in turn perform karma. And this cycle goes on. Then yajna comes, then Parjanya Anna comes, then again he performs karma which is involving yajna, like this it goes on. So this is the system given by Krishna. So this karma, so what the duties they have to be based on Vedas. Otherwise, like outside people also may tell, or initially the parents, relatives, they also may be telling, no, Bhagavad Gita actually tells, no, you should do your duty, so you should be a good son, you should earn well, maintain your family, so that is sufficient. But what Bhagavad Gita is saying, what is the duty? So if that one is doing, then one is dutiful as per Bhagavad Gita. Otherwise, It may be some social conception or something, and some may be still sinful and maybe also atheistic. But they may be dutiful in terms of what society says, but it may not be dutiful in terms of what Bhagavad Gita is saying. So this is one shloka which one can say that the actual duty is one has to follow Vedas. So regulated activities are prescribed in the Vedas, and the Vedas are directly manifested from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Consequently, the all-pervading transcendence is eternally situated in acts of sacrifice. So Prabhupada writes, anything performed without the direction of the Vedas is called vikarma or unauthorized or sinful work. Yes. So somebody may be dutiful, but not exactly like, yeah, somebody may be dutiful for the family and wants to provide all the material needs of family and supply all sense gratification, all sinful ways and takes them to enjoyment, to recreation here, there, and doing all ugra karma in a way. So that is sinful. That is not exactly one is performing karma yoga as per the Vedas. Therefore, one should always take direction from the Vedas to be saved from the reaction of work. Okay, I can read this.
After creating or impregnating the conditioned souls into the womb of material nature, he gave his directions in the Vedic wisdom as to how such conditioned souls can return home, back to Godhead. We should always remember that the conditioned souls in the material nature are all eager for material enjoyment. But the Vedic directions are so made that one can satisfy one's perverted desires, then return to Godhead, having finished his so called enjoyment. It is a chance for the conditioned souls to attain liberation. Therefore, the conditioned souls must try to follow the process of yajna by becoming Krishna conscious. Even those who have not followed the Vedic injunctions may adopt the principles of Krishna consciousness, and that will take the place of the performance of Vedic yajnas or karmas.
So that's what it's important. See, Vedas is not against one having some material desires to enjoy sense gratification. In one sense, even Krishna consciousness is also not exactly against it. It's not a prohibited act that way. So even while always, that's what like Krishna consciousness said, you add whatever you're doing, you just add Krishna in your life. You need not like subtract. And as one becomes Krishna conscious, then it naturally makes one detached, produces detachment in the heart of the devotee, and he naturally will give up like the materialistic desires, materialistic activities, all that. So it's not like Krishna is going to punish somebody who has material desires. Like Krishna, the system is only such that like one will naturally, if one is following the Vedas and all, and is fulfilling his material desires, one will gradually realize the futility of material enjoyment, and he will reduce, and he will slowly turn towards spirituality. So in Vedas also there is Karma Kanda and Upasana Kanda. So Karma Kanda in general consists of like performing yajnas to demigods, etc. Upasana Kanda is the Pancharatra Vidhi. Like now what we see like demigod worship and all, it is more Upasana Kanda. Now very few people like maybe Arya Samaj or some things, they perform yajnas, but very few, like maybe now majority of the temples and all Upasana Kanda is there. But yeah, some maybe majority may be following as per the scriptures, some may not be, some may be some concoction or something also possibly. So the Upasana Kanda also, it has to be if it is followed properly, then one can say that one is a Vedic follower. And also again, then there are rules also for Grihastha life and also then yeah. Of course, as Prabhupada said, the easy way is to do Sankirtan Yajna, but this is there. This is also there and it works. It's not like it, but little difficult to follow. Okay, now Krishna is summarizing it. Evam pravartitam chakram nanuvartayati haya.
एवं प्रवर एवं प्रवर्तितं चक्रं नानुवर्तयति यः
Aghayor indriya ramo mogam partha sa जीवति.
अघायुरिन्द्रियारामो मोघं पार्थ स जीवति.
My dear Arjuna, one who does not follow in human life the cycle of sacrifice, thus established the Vedas, certainly leads a life full of sin. Living only for the satisfaction of the senses, such a person lives in veil. Yeah, veil. Okay, you can read the purport.
The Maimonides philosophy of work very hard and enjoy sense gratification is condemned herein by the Lord. Therefore, for those who want to enjoy this material world, the above mentioned cycle of performing yajnas is absolutely necessary. One who does not follow such regulations is living a very risky life, being condemned more and more. By nature's law, this human form of life is specially meant for self realization. In either of the three ways, namely Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, or Bhakti Yoga, there is no necessity of rigidly following the performances of the prescribed yajnas for the transcendentalists who are above vice and virtue. But those who are engaged in sense gratification require purification by the above mentioned cycle of yajna performances. There are different kinds of activities. Those who are not Krishna conscious are certainly engaged in sensory consciousness. Therefore, they need to execute pious work. The yajna system is planned in such a way that the sensory conscious person may satisfy their desires without becoming entangled in the reaction of sense gratificatory work. The propensity of the world depends not on the prosperity of the world depends not on our own efforts but on the background arrangement of the Supreme Lord directly carried out by the demigods.
Okay, thank you. So, if one performs yajna, so then it is, the prosperity of the world is there. Like Prabhupada also said that if at least 10% of the world follows regulative principles, the world is prosperous. The world will remain prosperous and peaceful. Yeah, we see because that is not there, so there is unequal distribution of wealth, etc. Yeah. If you see the current economic model, either capitalism or socialism, both are not based on dharma, means it's not based on the scriptures. The socialist model we discussed also in Upanishad. Everyone is equal, so they artificially try to make everyone equal. Even somebody who has the capability to maintain wealth and earn a lot of wealth, they were also brought to lower level. And those who cannot handle wealth and who cannot manage wealth, they are also given so much wealth. So it led to a lot of mismanagement and it failed. And capitalism is like money is everything, so whoever wants to profit, he can exploit the poor, etc. So as a result, economic inequality, so the with just 10% of the global population earn over 50% of the total income. The poorest 50% of the global population share just 8% of the total wealth. So that is, there is lot of inequality. The wealthiest 10% own more than 72% of wealth, and the top 5% nearly own 62% of the total wealth. So there is lot of difference in the economic model. But the Vedic model is like, it tells that not just this life is not in all, this earth planet is not in all, there is heaven, the king is not in all, but there are demigods, there is taxation, there is regulation, there is decentralization. So it's not like the government is the center of everything, but there are demigods, and above the demigods there is Supreme Lord. So there is no concentration of power or wealth and all. So there is and because these all things are there, there is knowledge of Atma and also there is inspiration for the rich to do charity. And also there is contentment among the poor. That the loss of karma means they know that whatever is destined we are getting. So there is also that thing. So that's why if you see also now the lot of unrest also is there in countries where there is poverty, and they are not content. They are very disturbed, like Bangladesh and many other places. If you see, even Afghanistan, Pakistan, all these places. So there is poverty, and the rich are exploitative also there. But in the Vedic model, the rich are all content and they are charitable. They are forced to be also charitable, and because that is also part of Vedic rituals and all. And the poor also, they are content. So there is peace as well as there is prosperity. Now in the world, externally there is in some places there is prosperity, but there is no peace. So that is there. Okay, so yes, bro, you can read.
Therefore, the yajnas are directly aimed at the particular demigod mentioned in the Vedas. Indirectly, it is the practice of Krishna consciousness, because when one masters the performance of yajnas, one is sure to become Krishna conscious. But if by performing yajnas one does not become Krishna conscious, such principles are counted as only moral codes. One should not therefore limit his progress only to the point of moral codes, but should transcend them to attain Krishna consciousness.
Oh, no. Yeah, now Krishna explained what is this no Sakama Karma Kanda. Now Krishna is going to focus in the next slokas on the purpose of Karma Yoga. So one should means Krishna tells how one should focus on sense enjoyment. So if one does Karma Yoga just for sense enjoyment, that is not sinful, but what it becomes, he becomes a servant of senses, Indriya Ramu. So then yeah, of course, here, if one just does Boga, that is what it is being taught. No? Yeah. So if one is just doing Boga, means not following Karma Yoga, as Vedas say, so he becomes servant of senses. Means he does not have a purpose in life, like we saw there is no focus in life, there is no proper purpose in life. His life is very disorganized, and he's committing sin also because he's transgressing Vedas a lot, so he's committing sin and bondage, and his material attachment is also increasing. So that is also there, and lust also develops. So this thing is okay. Now can we discuss? Okay, now you can think for around for 3 minutes, and from Shastras who became like a servant of senses. There are examples of different demons, and who developed asakti, who became materially attached because of not properly following the way. They may not be like they have rejected the Vedic path, but they were not following properly the Vedic path. So that's why they became servant of senses, or they became materially attached. You can think and then we'll discuss. Okay, yes, Yashas bro, want to tell for the first one?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. So, in the Mahabharata, it is mentioned that there were two demons called Sunda and Upsunda. So actually, they were brothers, and they are very affectionate to each other. But there is one Apsara called Tilottama. So they are very, we can say, so they have attracted with that Apsara, and because of that Apsara, they are fought to each other and they kill themselves.
Okay, yeah. So they are demons, which means they are not following the Vedic culture, and that way they became servant of senses. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
No,
May I
no,
answer,
Prabhuji.
Prabhuji?
Initially, Hare Krishna. Actually, initially they performed one tapasya,
Mm.
and Lord Brahma came and they asked to Brahma, only we can killed by to each other, not
Yeah,
anyone else.
that's okay. That's okay. Okay. Take it. Good. Take it. Thank you. Okay. Well, yes, Shrikant bro.
She Jagai Madai, Nalkuber, Manigriva, and Ajamila.
Okay, good, 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 good. Thank you, thank you. Okay.
Can I answer,
Sugriv,
Prabhuji?
Yes. Yeah, yeah.
Sugriv,
Tell, tell.
Prabhuji, Sugriv.
Sugriv, you can, yeah, we can say yes. Okay, that also is okay. Yes, yes, bro. Why can't you marry?
Bharat Maharaj.
Bharat Maharaj. In what
Ah,
sense?
he saw that female deer, no? And then the
Mm,
child fell in the river.
yeah, you
The
can in
guy
one
was
sense.
chasing,
Yeah, in one
and later
sense,
on he become asakta to him, to that.
it will come
Because he
more
would
in
have
the
not seen
second.
that.
It will come more in the second one than the first one. In one sense, first one, but yeah, he has not.
I'm adding both of them, Prabhuji.
Yeah, okay, okay, take it. Fine, fine. Okay. It's more
Thank you.
devotional contest, but fine. Take it. Thank you. Yes, Sharad bro.
Prabhuji Ravana, who got the servant of senses for first example.
Yeah, he was worshipping Shiva, but because he was against the Lord Ram authority and he was not following the Vedic rules. Because as per Vedic rules, one should not kidnap others' wives and all. So he became servant of senses. Yes. Okay. Who else?
Prabhuji, even Brahmaji also, na? He followed her own daughters.
That may be some contamination. It's yeah. So we don't exactly know why it happened, or is it some arrangement of Lord? We don't know. So yeah. So
Okay, Prabhuji.
yeah. Yes, Yashas bro.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Actually, I have read in the Bhagavatam. Actually, Hiranyaksha also have very proud on his power, because he also challenging everybody, just fight with me, just fight with me. So I think it's a kind of a Indriya Rama, because he's very proud on his we can say uh, his strength and all these
Yeah,
things.
he wants to show off. He's
Yeah.
proud of, he's attached to being seen as a victory person or something. Yeah, okay, okay, fine. That's fine. Okay, thank you. Okay, now for the second one,
Hare Krishna,
getting
Prabhuji.
yes, Mataji.
Prabhuji, there was one rishi, I'm not able to recall the name. He used to do tapasya in water and he fall for fish seeing
Sober
mating.
Muni,
Yeah,
Mataji.
yeah,
Sober
Saubari.
Muni.
Yeah, Saubari. Yes, correct.
Which Muni, Prabhuji? Sorry.
Saubari Muni.
Yes, yes, Prabhuji. Sir.
Yeah. Yeah, so there also because it is a some kind of like offense, of course. That is also like, you can say it is not following the Vedic rules properly. So it's not respecting the devotees of Lord. So that way. He became servant of senses, he got attracted to fish, etc. Okay. Okay, now for material attachment. Yes. Yes, you can throw it.
So can we say Duryodhana and Dhritarashtra were attached?
Yeah,
To the
Dhritarashtra I can say
yeah,
more.
Dhritarashtra.
Duryodhana is more like Indriya Rama, but yeah, Dhritarashtra is attached. Because in one sense, he is offensive towards the devotees of Pandavas and all. He's not following what Krishna wanted from him. So, in one sense, he's disobeying the Vedas. That's why he's getting materially attached, helplessly getting materially attached. Okay. Yes, next. Next, anyone wants to tell? So yeah, that is Dhritarashtra. I
Bharat
also
Maharaj.
thought of. Yeah, Bharat Maharaj, we can say.
Prabhuji, I don't know if Maharaj Pandu falls in Asakti or Udriram.
No, Maharaj Pandu doesn't come in this. Okay. Yeah, we want examples where somebody is not following Vedas and is getting materially attached. Yes, Srimati Vasudha Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Kaikeyi Prabhu.
Kaikai, yeah, we can say yes. In some way.
Prabhuji,
It's not
even
very
Azamil,
clear.
na, he got
Huh?
Prabhuji, even Azamil, he got asakti with that
Yeah, Ajamil is also
prostitute,
a
and he
good
got
example
married to her
because
and then had children. Yeah.
he's leading a sinful life. He deserted his
Yes,
parents
yes,
and all,
yes, Prabhuji.
and he's getting attached. Good example. Yes, Amrita Mataji.
वो जो
Thank you,
I don't recall the name.
Yeah.
One person or what I think Tulsidas is there. He in से तूफान में वो नाइट पे रिवर पार करके आए थे अपनी वाइफ से मिलने और आफ्टर दैट हिज वाइफ इज कॉल्ड हिम एंड टोल्ड मी अगर आप इतना भगवान के ऊपर ध्यान देते तो आपका उद्धार हो जाता
Okay.
एंड लाइक दैट
Bilamangal Thakur. Bilamangal. Okay.
यस
Yeah, he can say yes. Yes, good. Okay, so this is an Shastric examples, but of course you can see in the modern world many examples. But yeah. So basically, if one is not following the Vedas, one will be helplessly become servant of senses and become materially attached. Means they don't have any other way to come out of it. But if somebody is following Vedic path, they also may have these symptoms, but they will gradually get purified of it. They will be regulated in these things and they'll gradually get purified. Okay. That's why if we see our older generations and all, they are not so materialistic and they have some element of detachment also. But the current generations are not like that. So the success formula for Karma Yoga is do your prescribed duties and have Atma Gyan and be detachment from results. So then it will lead to purification or liberation. So now this thing Krishna emphasizes on it. So till now Krishna only emphasized on the first thing. He told you just do prescribed duties and get your material needs done. But now Krishna will emphasize on this Atma Gyan and being detached from results. Then only you will get the ultimate thing, being liberated from the material world. Okay. Maybe we'll see 1-2 shlokas. Now Krishna is telling actually Arjuna who can actually renounce the births, who can actually renounce the Karma Yoga. Yasto atmaratir syad atmatrutascha manava.
यस्त्वात्मा रतिरेव स्यात् आत्मतृप्तश्च मानव
Atmanyeva cha santushtas tasya karma karyam na vidyate.
आत्मन्येव च सन्तुष्टस्तस्य कार्यं न विद्यते.
Okay. But for one who takes pleasure in the self, whose human life is one of self-realization, and who is satisfied in the self only, fully satiated, for him there is no duty. Yeah. So, Atmaratir evasya means he is only attracted to the Atma, means the spiritual advancement, spiritual realization, and he is fully satisfied by that. So somebody may be attracted to Atma, but somebody also may be attracted to the material enjoyment. That is, in one sense, the sadhaka's life. But if somebody is only attracted to Atma and he is satisfied only with it, completely with it, so then he can he need not he doesn't have any duties, means he's not obliged to perform any duties, which means he can renounce karma yoga. No material selfish desires, only hankering, atma ratya. Yeah, he's satisfied only in atma. Yes, bro, you can read the purport.
A person who is fully Krishna conscious and is fully satisfied by his acts in Krishna consciousness no longer has any duty to perform. Due to his being Krishna conscious, all impiety within is instantly cleansed and effect of many, many thousands of yajna performances. By such clearing of consciousness, one becomes fully confident of his eternal position in relationship with the Supreme. His duty thus becomes self-illuminated by the grace of the Lord, and therefore he no longer has any obligations to the Vedic injunctions. Such Krishna conscious person is no longer interested in material activities and no longer takes pleasure in material arrangements like wine, woman, and similar infatuations.
Yeah, if someone is like that, yeah, I think, yes, I think Srinivas Acharya, his guru tells him to marry, I think. Yeah, his guru only tells him to marry. So no, it is, I think, Ramachandra Kaviraj. Mostly it is Ramachandra Kaviraj. So his guru tells him to marry, so he marries, and in the night he preaches to his wife, and he reads Bhagavatam, and she becomes a devotee, and again he goes back to Guru. So someone is at that level, then one can renounce. Otherwise, one has to take the normal path, that take responsibility, get purified gradually, and then when one comes to this stage, one can renounce this life, next life, whatever. Yeah. So this is like who can take sannyas, means it's not also like brahmacharya also. Yeah. Yes, Shrikant, same question.
Arjuna was a pure devotee, right? So still to
So
set example or what?
yeah, so that Krishna is going to tell that point. Naiva tasya kritenartho na kriteneha kashana.
नैव तस्य कृतेनार्थो न कृतेनेह कश्चन
न चस्य सर्वभूतेषु कश्चिद् अर्थव्यपाश्रया.
न चास्य सर्वभूतेषु कश्चिदर्थव्यपाश्रयः.
A self-realized man has no purpose to fulfill in the discharge of his prescribed duties, nor has he any reason not to perform such work, nor has he any need to depend on any other living being. Which the translation which Baldev Devushan gives, he gains no results, which means he gains no material results by performance of prescribed actions for seeing the Atma, nor does he produce obstacles to seeing that Atma by not performing those prescribed actions. Yeah. For him, because he is not performing those activities with a desire to enjoy. And if he, in case he does not perform them properly also, he is not affected by it because he doesn't have any desire for enjoyment. For him, nothing in this world is a worthy object of prescribed actions for facilitating his vision of Atma. So the purpose of prescribed duties is purification, but he's already purified. So there is no need for him to perform the prescribed duties. So there is no result, artha, by his performance of prescribed actions, kritena, for the purpose of realizing the Atma. Because he has already realized Atma and he is purified, so he does not have any need for performing prescribed duties. And he incurs no obstacles for seeing Atma. Yeah. So Prabhupada says a self-realized man is no longer obliged to perform any prescribed duty, save and accept activities in Krishna consciousness. Krishna consciousness not inactivity either, as will be explained in the following verses. The Krishna conscious man does not take shelter of any person, man, or demigod. Whatever he does in Krishna consciousness is sufficient in the discharge of his obligation. What's the time now? Okay, from this verse we will take in the next class. Okay, any questions? Anything?
I have a question, Prabhuji. Can I ask?
Wait, Sharad Pro has raised. Yes, Sharad Pro has some question.
Yes, Prabhuji, just a clarification I wanted to make. So, if so in previous verses we read that Krishna says, Yagyat bhavati parjanya. So yagya produces rains. But if someone argues that why rains are there in ocean or some other place where yagyas are not happening, then what we
Why,
can reply?
why rains are falling on ocean?
Yes.
Yeah, because again ocean water evaporates, na, to perform clouds, and that only the clouds only come on the land and give rain, na. So now when that, so the formation of clouds is controlled by Prakriti.
Okay, but in context of
See, like
performing,
water, see, like water is stored in a tank by municipality stores. Whoever like pays the tax and all, they get the water, like the water bill, etc. And who does not pay, they will not get. So water is stored in the ocean, and the water is released from the ocean by formation of clouds, and those clouds again, the winds, they come with the help of winds, they come on the land and they give rain to the people. But that is controlled by the Prakriti. That is based on the piety of the people and different factors.
If we not consider ocean, but areas where there are no Sankirtan happening or Yagya happening, but still we see
See, we cannot so
rains.
much. So that's what one thing is, we cannot reduce that. No, like in a country like there are no pious people, or no, like that is not also exactly correct. And also it depends again, the people have previous pious credits for which they have to enjoy also. So that is also there. And this is also there, both. Like like people are doing, that's what you cannot say that no, people are totally sinful. In any person, there will be some piety one may be doing, but it may not be, he may not be conscious, he may not be consciously doing it. So he may get some result, but may not be like full result. It also may be mixed with sinful reaction, like that. Like somebody doing social work and all, they will get some pious thing. So that discussion will come in the 17th chapter. They'll get something, but again, because they are not following the Vedas, it will not be fully free from sin, like that. Like somebody taking care of their family. So there is some piety in that, but there will be also some sin, because it's not like he's conscious of the Vedic thing and all that. So there may not be, again, purification. There may not be purification, and there may not be full immunity from sin. So that. Okay. Yes, Vaikunt Bihari Prabhu, you wanted to ask something?
I wanted to ask the question.
Hmm.
What about the prescribed duty of a person who has already completed the age of 55 or above 50? He can neglect his prescribed duties, or he has to work.
No, that criteria is there. And I also heard like those who are Brahmana, like those who are Brahmanas, only they generally go till sannyas. It's not like every Brahmana goes also, but they generally go till sannyas, and Kshatriyas go till Vanaprastha, and the Vaishyas, they properly take Brahmacharya training and enter Grihasthashram, and the 4th class, they go directly into Grihasthashram. So it's not like everyone, every Varna, no, goes to Vanaprastha or sannyas also. So one has to see.
Prabhuji, but
Yes,
sorry.
bro.
Please continue.
Means, yeah, it's not like it is a something that no, it's a strict injunction that no one, if one does not enter Vanaprastha or some further, no, it's a sinful thing and all. One has to see that adhikar, and that adhikar is like no, we have discussed in this verse.
No, unfortunately, after the COVID, like 2020, I could not work. I was into the teaching profession.
Acha.
So then I tried, but somehow that gap was so big, and then things were become completely mess. So I opted for the devotional service of the Lord and then spiritual practices. So
Means,
is that right?
yeah, means if one is able to perform the responsibilities like, providing for the family, or those things are taken care, at least one has to fulfill the responsibilities of family, whatever one
Yeah.
is supposed to do, like. And apart from that, if like, yeah, if you're doing your devotional service and all, then fine.
Yeah, the son is already there to take the responsibility, and I could do whatever responsibilities were there, my Lord. I could do
Yeah.
rather than saying, Lord made me instrumental in doing my responsibilities, giving education to son, daughter, and everything, and then all family responsibilities. So that is why I personally I was having this doubt.
Yeah.
It got I was working till 2020, but because of COVID, I tried even during COVID time also at home,
Yeah.
online teaching and all. But
Yeah.
later on, I was completely disconnected from that.
Yeah.
So it's not against the Shastra or something. I just wanted to confirm
Yeah,
the same.
it's not against the Shastra, but also means one has to see personally that one is engaged. Basically,
Yeah.
Bhagavad Gita, if you see, the initial talk was don't remain just unengaged. Because that
Yeah.
way what happens, one may be carried away by the modes, and especially the lower modes. So
Yes.
if we have this taste and all, we can engage to that extent in devotional service. Otherwise, we have to
Yeah.
engage ourselves in something. Now that one has to figure out. So that's what it depends on case to case.
Consistency is very difficult, but I tried always. That is why I'm always in the
So
temple and on
that's
the
what. So
bookstall.
that
Yeah, yeah,
you
yeah.
need to see, like, if there is some freelancing, or I mean, it depends on case to case.
But I tried hard. I
Yeah.
tried hard. Always try hard.
Yeah.
Consistency is very difficult. Sometimes ups and downs are there, but still I'm trying, and I need
Yeah.
your prayers.
Yeah.
All devotees prayers for that.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Thank you so much,
whatever
Prabhuji.
means, yes, yes. And of course, in Bhagavatam 7th canto, there is a chapter also which tells about the duties of Vanaprasthas, and also that also, if you can take, and you may get some more insights from there.
Yeah, there was a camp also organized by His Grace Radheshyam Prabhuji
Yeah. So yeah,
for
that
Vanprastha, and then
Prabhuji
some
must
classes
have
were
covered
taken
those
by
things also there. So yeah.
yeah,
Okay,
and then
Prabhuji.
His Grace Gudakesh Prabhu also has given
Yeah.
lots of information.
Yeah. Yeah. So then.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Yes. Yes. Thank you.
Yes, please. You want to say anything?
Yes, Sharad Pro. Yeah.
I have a general doubt related to Bhagavad Gita, Prabhuji. If anyone has questions related to topic, we can cover those and I can ask him last.
No, you can ask. I think there are no other questions.
So, Prabhuji, we say that means Krishna also says in Bhagavad Gita that he has really given this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna so that the disciplic succession which was broken to re-establish that. But we see that means in disciplic succession we mean that this guru has this guru and it goes till Krishna. But we see that Arjuna has not taken any disciples. So in what context and what is the meaning of that?
Yeah. So one sense that is there, we don't have that historical thing, and our acharyas also have not mentioned that no, Arjuna is a disciple and all. But one thing is, Arjuna is a warrior, means is a king. So he must have instituted these teachings, like ensured that the people have followed at least the Vedic things. Now they may not be like fully practicing Nishkam Karma Yoga or something, but they must have followed these teachings properly. So that he must have done. Now, at least I also have not come across till now that, like, Arjuna taught this to someone else and it came like that. But in general, he must have facilitated that education of the people, and so that is there always. Because actually what Arjuna fears that actually happened, means that because because the Kauravas, they were all destroyed, there is a lot of chaos in the society. So Pandavas had to do really hard work to reconstruct the society. So, but they did it, and then then when that time came, they also retired and they passed it on to Parikshit Maharaj. Yeah.
Okay, Prabhu. Thank you.
Okay, so today we discussed about Sakama Karma Yoga, means the process of yajna and all. So if yajna is performed, then there is no bondage, otherwise there is bondage. So the yajna is a system, so wherein the living beings can get their resources from the demigods, and in that way they both cooperate with each other and they both stay happy. But if one does not do it, then one incurs sin. And yeah, like offering food to Vishnu is a important thing, but here it does not imply that there should be devotion. So somebody can be pious and maybe worshipping demigods. So he is also performing yajna, but a devotee also, as Prabhupada says, he is also performing yajna. But if somebody is a atheist and all, they are not performing yajna. And then Krishna explains the cycle of yajna, like how yajnas ultimately lead to food grains and all. And the duties has to be based on the Vedas. So that Krishna says, and now Krishna is building that thing, like now Krishna is focusing on the purpose, like the main focus of Karma Yoga is to give liberation, but not just to help the people get sense enjoyment. So that we are studying. Okay, so thank you very much. Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Okay, we'll stop with that.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna.